Hello, everyone. I'm Jean-Claude BeyondMystic, and welcome to this deep woo-woo episode. Today, the moon is, of course, inhabited. With me is the one and only, shrinking by the day, Mr. Bruce Sees All. You can find him also here on YouTube at Bruce Sees All, and you can support him also on his Patreon at patreon.com/Bruce Sees All. Bruce, welcome back to the show. How are you, man?
I'm doing good, man. Nice to see you.
Dude, I'm gonna need another profile pic here. This is the old one, and you don't look you don't look the same anymore, man.
No,
Congratulations with all the weight
you're
loss.
not going to see me in front of the moon. I'll be smaller than now. I'm smaller than the UFOs right there in that image. But I'm telling you, I'm getting
What's your
bony.
secret? What's your secret, Bruce? I'm sure a lot of people want to know.
Stress?
Stress.
No, I'm kidding. No, it's a little bit of a secret, but it's the fasting. Honestly, man, I was eating too much pasta. It's a simple solution: too much pasta, rice, and potatoes. Actually, I was eating only rice, pasta, and potatoes.
Yeah,
That's
good.
basically. I love it. Bit of
Yeah.
meat, lots of pasta. Not anymore. Finish. Just meat.
Cool. Well, congratulations. Hey, thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for joining us here. We are simulcasting right now, Bruce, both on YouTube and on Rumble. So we're going to try to stay away from the hot topics there on the
Yes, sir.
algo list on YouTube. So thank you everyone for joining us there. I see that Cliff High is in the chat. Also, Cliff, we might have some cool stuff for you. Bruce took some of the pictures that you sent me, and we're going to have some discussions today about all of that. But first, we want to look at this video that was making rounds the other day. Let me see if I can bring this up. This was a share that Janine sent to me that one of her subscribers on Terror by Janine had taken and posted on his YouTube channel. I'll leave the link down to the original file below. But here, Bruce took the video and applied basically some filters, some contrast. Nothing has been changed to the image per se.
Sorry, not to cut. Even simpler, not to cut you off.
Yeah.
I brought the exposure down. When you see the color come out, there's no filtering actually in that one. But I did a negative image. That's the green that you see after. Absolutely.
Right. Okay. So let's play that and set this up for. Well, first of all, your reaction to this. When I saw this particular clip, I'm like, "Whoa, that looks like 3 UFOs, or maybe a big one with
So
a
much to
docking
say,
station leaving and then going behind the moon." Your first impression?
So much to say. First impression.
Yeah.
A comparison to my videos when I'm showing them arriving close to the moon. But this object is very high up. The one I would have filmed would be like that one going down. But notice there is a tail. We're going to see it after I zoomed up. This is not my video, but I zoomed up. I just brought the exposure down. We're going to be looking at a colorful moon, man, and nighttime. With this, with no manipulation, people are going to have a hard time believing it. So it looks like, man, it looks like there's 1 or 2 objects over top. There were 3 objects altogether. Looks like one of them was either shot out, launched out, or just coming out down by itself. It's maybe something falling that's being shot down to the moon, or something that has a tail end, and we can see it well enough when we zoom up. And this is just a zoom without adjusting any of the filter, and you'll see pixelation a bit.
Yeah. So here I'm going to bring up, that's the original file here. They seem to be either flying in a formation, the 3 maybe in a V-shaped formation.
They are shaking at the same time as the moon. I have no reason to believe that this is a fake video. Everything looks legitimate. Honestly, I'm just saying, like, it doesn't mean it is, but it looks legitimate because everything looks real with the atmosphere. Everything is white like that, JC, that I film. Everything, every single UFO asteroid that I film is white like that. Well, like that. And he's off of the edge of the moon. It's daytime, and it looks like it went behind or on the surface, so it's like, what?
Yeah.
This is just a negative. I applied a negative. My negative has it shows green, but some show yellow. It is filtering. It's a negative image, but I want to show it this way before showing the amazing way, just to see the differences of what we're looking at. We're seeing a lot of atmosphere, which is obviously ours. We can see our clouds here on Earth,
right,
that are interacting, and you see the other atmosphere going around the moon, which is always normal, the clashing, but looks like they really sent something down. Look, JC, at the color when we zoom in here. This is the same filter, okay? Why does it look like nighttime? What I did is I grabbed exposure level button and brought it down 17%. That's all I did. I'll show the difference after. But you might say you're not going to see well enough. Well, au contraire, you will see well. You'll see the objects the same way, and we'll be able to see a different view a bit. And we can look at it that way. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty incredible. It's like we're looking at it at nighttime now. That's how I show my moon. And I zoomed in as much as I could so that the pixelations don't overdo it. So watch here is zoomed in with, is it without? You'll see the color come out. So that's without, is it? Yeah, with the nighttime there. So I just tried to zoom in as much as I could without over pixelating it to be able to see it. But that object coming out of the bottom was really aligned up with that object on top, or those objects. Why am I saying that object? I'm
See
seeing,
there was a separation of
yeah,
this left
exactly.
and right one, and somewhere behind in the clip, this right one apparently it looks like it's vertical right now, and it goes to an angle also. So
Right.
it feels like those two top ones are detached, or maybe they're part of the same object that's changing configuration. What was
Yeah,
your thought?
is they're definitely launching something, right, or dropping something. From what I see, it's that the object that is going down could also, okay, let's say there was 3 of them there, and there's one that decides he's going to go down. That could be also that there's like craft, and one decided to go down. See the colors come out in the video, and I'm
Yeah.
not adding them just by
Yeah.
bringing the exposures down, man. Every little object flying around in the atmosphere is invisible because of the refraction. That's a fact. When you bring the exposure down, it alleviates the refraction. And of course, you're going to lose some smaller images, but it depends on what you're looking at.
Right.
You can really see it going down there.
Right.
And you know what? It doesn't look like a drop, man. It doesn't look like something crashing. It looks like a descent. Like, as for the speed as it's going down. So watch this. I think this is the part where I zoomed up without filtering it. I just want you to see the pixelation when we zoom up, and then I'll cut to with the exposure down. And you'll see that we can still see them very well. But let's say if there was smaller objects around them, I wouldn't have done that. We wouldn't have seen the smaller objects around them. So, trying to make them better, but it was really hard to make better, man. Like a phone videos are nice of far out, farther away.
Right.
Fascinating
capture. Now, this one's hard to tell. You've had captures before where, for all intents and purposes, it looks like there's a plume behind a rocket, right?
Yes.
This we can't see. We're not close enough to see, but it doesn't look like it's acting like any of those
exactly
propelled.
It looks like it's bright. It could be because of its propulsion system or not, but it looks like it's refracting and reflecting, with the atmosphere clashing with the atmosphere. I like the one that you sent me there about 7.7.
Yeah.
Bro, that's real quick. That's a comparison to all the propulsion systems I see in the fires on the moon. It's just that I'm seeing them far. It could be that object was going to the moon.
Right. Let me bring that up, actually. Last thoughts on this particular one. What are we looking at? Do you think it's man-made, or do you think we're at that level? Do you think it's extraterrestrial? And what's your percentage of this one's been faked? What would you say if you were to give it a?
Aliens have back engineered human technology, I believe. That's some of my thoughts, and I believe that humans have definitely back engineered alien technology. So we have to deal with, real quick, I won't linger, but we have to deal with the differences that they're going to be comparable and similar. It could be that an alien craft was redone, and that now a certain alien craft come here, we're replicating them and going back out with them too. So it's become impossible to see. But honestly, seeing that, I'll tell you what, it's human like because of what they're doing. It seems like they're doing something, they're approaching in the atmosphere and they're sending something to the surface. It doesn't look like teleportation or advanced aliens, does it? Aliens whizzing around. That doesn't look like they're whizzing around. It looks like something project, maybe. I call secret project 99%.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And possibility of this being fake? When you look at it, do you see any telltale signs?
The programs, I mean, I'm good at making movies, man. And I haven't tried yet, but if I was to replicate a fake video, I'm scared that I probably would be able to. I'm pretty sure by manipulating exposure, by manipulating contrast, maybe adding a background and then taking a light out, sort of like Apollo landings and stuff like that. But honestly, it looks real. But I'll tell you what. I was going to say that object is closer to us than the moon, but it seems not when we see it touch the surface of the moon. It's daytime. We should see it go over the moon, and we don't. So they're actually on the edge of the moon, like I saw. It's in the same areas where we should see them, and it's the size of how we should see them. That would be freaking huge, dude.
That was my last question. How big do you think that is? If it is, on the side of the moon, landing right on the side, or perhaps
I'm going to
just
give you a good idea. Of course, depending on l'appareil, depending on the device and stuff. Me with my telescope, when I see the lights and I show them zoomed up, it's 1 mile to 3 miles wide, but with the lights. So, but on the edge of the moon, those big lights, I see them. It's a smidgen of a light. It's a ballpoint pen of a light. That is freaking huge. It's like something massive, more than one object going to the moon. I'm surprised it's, and it looks like it's really high up.
Mm-hmm.
That looks like it's like 100,000 feet over the moon. And then they're sending something down. And you know what? When it goes down, man, you see the parallax. Jean-Claude, you see it go down sideways. It's not just like something going straight down. You see that it goes sideways. Like you can see the angle, horizon and stuff. I think it's awesome. It looks real. It honestly looks real.
Let me bring it up again there. What do you mean by parallax? Explain to the audience members.
Okay. When they're going down, is that the best image?
Here, let's go back. There you go.
Parallax, okay, always gives us the impression that things are lying down, right?
Oh, I see what you mean.
Okay. So when you're looking at something, it could be elongated. Also, that's another thing. I know I'm talking in circles. The objects can be different shaped also because of the parallax. They can be elongated, looks like they're stretched out, and but that wasn't exactly what I had said about the parallax. I forget the exact point that you were trying to make me say, but
no, it doesn't. Well, I was trying to get you to explain parallax to people and what visually.
Okay, well, the parallax causes foreshortening. So in other words, when you're looking at a shadow and I'm standing under the sun, if you're to film me all day, you're going to see my shadow stretch me out. Right. I'm going to look like a stretched out man as compared to a regular shadow. The shadow's regular if it's over me. The shadow's not if it's far from me. So if that object is close to the sun or the moon, aligned with it, we'd see it real. If it's really far behind the moon, we can see it elongated or stretched out because the parallax is going to show it to us like a cigar-shaped object. Right. But sometimes those cigar-shaped objects can be circles, and we don't see them as circles. So
that's crazy. Let me go to the chat. There's a few people saying my mic was off. I checked. I'm on the right settings. I'm on the right microphone.
That was happening to me.
Live chat here. It could just be the bandwidth today. I don't know.
It could be, but I was attacked all week like that. JC, they were cutting off my microphone. So hopefully.
Oh, really? On your channel?
Yeah.
So guys, give me a 5x5. Do you hear me better now? There appeared to be some issues earlier in the show.
Testing.
Check 1 2.
Test 1 2 3. 1 2 3.
What's that song? That theme song from Fraser? Do you remember? Did you watch that comedy when you're? I hear the blues are calling. Tossed out.
I don't know the name, but I know the exact song you meant. But he's back, by the way. Fraser's back, by the way.
What's that?
Fraser is back.
No, I know. That's why I'm saying that. I just saw it on Prime, and actually, it made me laugh. It was kind of funny. So I'm like, oh, okay.
I used to love him. I was young. I used to love him.
Yeah. All right. Sound is good. Okay, so let's go back to the next video I wanted to show you. Let's go back to this. This is an older file, but somebody sent it to me yesterday, and I said, oh, I want to bring this to Bruce's attention also. This was from Crow 777 here. He was either the original or one of the original people who had reported on that wave on the moon, what that looked like, that holographic kind of wave that went through. You and I talked about this a couple of months ago. But in this particular file, he's zooming in on this. So let me just show you the screenshot image I took. I posted this on my Twitter if you guys want to go check it out here. But here, if you get into...
You're on Twitter? Okay.
This is on my Twitter. You see what appears to be the back of a craft here with 3 red plumes coming out of. So we're going to go and watch this video from him also here and see if you have any... okay, hold on. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit more. Okay, so the object is coming from top to bottom and slightly to the left of the screen. I'm pointing with my mouse here. We'll look at it here in the widescreen, and then we'll get a little bit closer. And I want your thoughts on this as well. Okay, so let's play this. I'm going to bring this up here.
It's a good one.
This video here. So let's go a little bit further in so you guys can see that. I know it's hard here. Hold on. Okay, so there you go. I'm going to zoom that in here. There you go. Did you see that light up?
Yeah. I saw the 3 lights too.
Right. So you've captured some of this before also. You've captured what you think is this underneath a cloud cover, smoke cover, some type of obfuscation mechanism. Explain what you've captured that looks like this also, Bruce.
Every time I capture an object on the surface that I say is amongst the hazes, uh, I always see lights around the object. So basically, I'm only looking at like a square pixel or something, where it's just an object. But around it, you have plumes of light on 3 of the corners all the time that go, much like Elon Musk when he lands. And I have this on film. It's like you see it changing. And I also see them get smaller and descend, like they disappear. But at the beginning, I thought they were disappearing, man, but they're not disappearing. They're just going down under the haze. Sometimes they go up, sometimes they go down. And that, as stupid as it sounds, I believe is how they are hiding it. What Crow saw looks like one that is high in the moon's atmosphere. And in the moon's atmosphere, because you actually see it turn back around the back of the moon.
Right.
You know.
Right. That's interesting. So perhaps this is the first stage to what you're seeing closer to the surface when you captured them in the past. Very fascinating. I'll bring the link down also in the live chat if you guys want to go and check out this video and give Crow a thumbs up on that. That was a good capture as well.
Yeah, it was great.
Okay, so there's a link there. Okay, so next up, Bruce, a couple of weeks ago, Cliff had sent me an email that says, hey, ask Bruce about the Line crater. So let me bring that up. You've added the description here in this video that you've sent me for the file today.
Yeah, I stuck in a short piece of just the information of Line where I got it, Wikipedia. It's quite simple. Line with an accent, with the accent at the end. Line, le cratère Line.
So it was named by Swedish botanist Carl Linnaeus. That's why it's called Linnaeus. Okay. Now let's go to the Wikipedia here. What did you want to share any more of the information, or people can just take it?
Yes, in the future it will be exposed by Jean-Claude and Bruceus, but we're gonna wait for that to happen. You know, I don't. It's a long shot. This image I showed just real quickly. It's not mine. I went from Wikipedia. You can see that we're inside the Mare Serenitatis. Before we see my live part, you can see Bessel crater under the R of Serenitatis right there, and Linnaeus in the Mare. But we're really close. We're going to back out onto that map that's in the bottom left corner there.
Okay.
As we go ahead in the video, just real quickly, the Mare's on the top right. So right there, yeah. And don't forget, see, they present the moon turned around. That's always confusing for people. It's not like that in Australia. It's not like that here either. It's like it is maybe during the end of the moon phase, but it turns around. In reality, those 2 eyes, Mare Crisium on the right, they're usually on top 90% of the time here. Like from what we see, you know. So, but the Mare there, you can see there inside of the Mare, right, pointing to Bessel crater. Well, that's where Linnaeus crater is. And what Cliff High mentioned that you told me that he had mentioned is that there's a change in the view and the perception of the surface because of light shine or earth shine or whatnot, a reflection or refraction. But that is the area that I had added, that I saw a change in the craters in my footage from 3 years' time. There is extra walls on one of the craters. It's just 100 kilometers from Linnaeus inside the Mare. I mean, you know, and as you know, across from the rectangle that I've shown here even before, I think.
Well, let's get into that. I'll zoom in a little bit here. So just to situate the audience, so Serenitatis is this, and Linnaeus finds itself inside here.
On the west side, which is actually almost the other side because it'll be turned around the moon.
See, so like at the 9 o'clock position here, like you have it here.
Yeah, it should be about like that. Yeah, it's about like that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, let me play that here. Let me see if I can go a little bit further in. Here we go.
I'm going to show it without filter, with the colors natural. I'm going to show it black and white, and I'm going to show it negative image, like I showed before, like I always show over the years. So yeah,
what's this one here too with the line? Explain this again. What's this one?
Exactly.
This one.
The whole turtle is Mare Serenitatis. In the center, that line, it's a line going through Bessel crater, which they say is 16 kilometers to give you an idea, and Linnaeus just up right there. Yeah, that's Linnaeus, which is in the west of the Mare. And real quickly, me on the other side of that mountain there to the left is where I showed the craters changing. We'll even see the craters in this one, I think. And JC, as we were both saying, we see those lines. Not everyone will see it right away.
There's like tubes or lines or stairs coming down here, something weird.
Yeah, and the lines go to 3 light sources, which I'll get the circles up, and to a square, and something monolithic in the center. Yeah, and a rectangle.
Yeah,
you could see that something cut out or that was deliberately done. There's actually 3 rectangles there, man, but depending on the exposure.
Yeah. Holy shit. Okay.
Yeah.
How close am I? Let me zoom out here. Okay, there you go.
So I'm doing this deliberately. Don't adjust your screen. See how dark it is?
Yeah.
I'm going to bring it up ever so slowly. Let your eye adjust and focus in that square right now. Focus everything. Watch when it hits. Oh, you're seeing a lot more.
Yeah.
Oof, you're seeing a lot more of the surface because it's hard to see the surface and the details.
Yeah.
I slowed it down here.
I'm just going to pause it there. Hold on.
Yeah.
Right about here. So right now I see this rectangle.
Right.
I see another one here.
And that is beside the Apollo 17 declared landing site where the rectangle is.
Which one? The right one or the left one?
Yeah, the right one. The right one.
Okay.
Yeah. So you see, you just saw the second one that I showed on the other side of Bessel.
Yeah.
And there's actually another one around Linné and you won't see it here until you adjust it even more when you adjust it. Yeah, there's one right there too. In a way, there's another rectangle there with another adjustment depending on the light. It baffles me, dude. Lots of squares on the moon like that.
Wow.
Mons Argaeus is what you see on the right there, completely on the right, complete right of the image there. Yes, all those things, the white stuff, that's Mons Argaeus where they landed. The Litro Taurus Valley, that's what it's called. There's Bessel crater in the center, 16 kilometers wide diameter. It's incredible. That mare, you can see all the levels there. And it's actually a mare that NASA says is flat. When China tried to land there, they said it was impossible because there was too much elevation and descending spots. Here, black and white, we can see it very well there too.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was like the connections, those white spots with the lines, and it's just incredible, an incredible area.
Yeah. And from your perspective too, like some of these craters, do you find that when you look at them that it's flat, that it's not flat? Like, does it make sense? And why also are all these craters perfectly round? If they were being pockmarks from craters, you would see like striations, you would see directionality to it.
Exactly.
You don't see that here on the moon.
Now I'm going to scare you. You know the ideal that everybody has that they're mining from the surface to mine inwards? What about people on the inside mining outwards, making the holes? And that when that happens, a hole happens that the center of the crater descends, boom, boom, stops. They can put a fake crater there or just a smoke hiding it. And there's always a rampart on the side of every single crater, 99.9% of the time. They call it a rampart. It's higher and it has levels to go down. It looks like the carrière, like a pit, a mining pit, literally, you know, that they made. And all the craters are like that. They say they're all different levels to the surfaces. People say, why do they look all the same? I believe it's a smoke. Wow. The smoke's like a film of saran wrap, plastic over the top, making everything look sort of level. And the parallax foreshortening comes into that too. Looks everything flat. The Apennine Mountains look flat on the moon, and they're high. You know,
is there such a thing as Shackleton crater, or is that just a movie thing? So I'm watching this series. I think Sarah has it on. It could be a Prime. It's called For All of Mankind. Yeah. Let me bring up the poster here for you guys. For All of Mankind.
Yeah, it does. It does, brother. I'll let you continue, but yes.
Okay. And so basically, the premise of this particular series, I think it's there's 4 seasons already of this available for you guys. I'm on the first now. I'm kind of watching it, but essentially they're saying this would have been the future had the Apollo missions continued.
And that's a movie.
It's a series on.
Wow.
I believe it's on Prime. It could be Netflix, but I believe it's Prime. And what's fascinating is they go past the Apollos. I think we're at Apollo 25 now. Yeah. And the president, now Nixon, there's been a whole bunch of stuff happening in the background politically. But yeah, I'm not a crook. And now they're establishing a moon base. So we're at the point now where both the Russians and the Americans are settling around this.
Russia, China joined with Russia. Now India joined with Russia for the space race to make the base. That's exciting, man.
So by 1974, where I'm at in this particular series, both Russia and the United States have established basically a mining operation off what they call Shackleton Crater. And the reason they're doing that is because they found ice. And so they're setting up a station here to use the ice to go back to make fuel, basically as a gas station here
Well,
to
guess
jump off
what?
to other planets here.
Shackleton is in the south pole of the moon, and that's where they're going.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I just checked. Shackleton is a real crater in the south pole.
And do
That
you see it from your telescope, or it's really underneath and you can't see it?
not sure if I can see it, but when I say I can't see it, it's probably borderline. Like, well, man, libration, parallax, because of it's wobbling the moon.
Mhm.
One moon phase, I can see 100 to 400 kilometers more than the last phase when I zoom up. So I can see certain parts of the South Pole, but maybe not necessarily that crater. But it says lunar impact that lies in the South Pole. Peaks along the crater's rim, exposed to almost continual sunlight. I'd have to do more research to see if we could see that crater, man.
Well, take a note and we'll come back to it
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
Sarah and I are watching this, and suddenly we're like, are we watching a movie or are we watching a documentary, like a slow leak of what actually happened? We
That
were
is
told
scary.
that, the space program, the Apollo missions were canceled, but what if they did continue, in fact, continue? So this
Right.
is the continuation, and they start from having this small habitat with 1 or 3 people, and then they keep building out and building out. It, like, it's
Right.
absolutely crazy.
Elon Musk is getting in trouble because of Starship, second crash. And in reality, they saying, get this, Artemis, they're afraid it's going to be set back. Artemis 3. I told you they're going to put that back to 2026 or 2027.
Mhm.
And the sun going to explode too by 25. There could be a lot of changes there going on. We don't know.
Okay. Why is the sun going to explode by 2025? What do you mean by that?
Oh, in 2025, leading up to 2025, we're going to see the biggest peaks ever seen and known to man, apparently, on the sun. And this is what Soho and everything that's recording right now. And as of last
You're
month,
talking about a heightened activities of solar flare or a different type
yes,
of process altogether?
yes, the reversal pole. Actually, you must have heard that the southern pole of the sun is in the process of flipping, and the southern pole, while it's going to flip, there going to be a lot of changes on Earth when that happens. At the same time, Earth is having, remember the core stopping that
Mhm.
nobody's talking about anymore, which I don't know if that's going to change or stop. But leading up to 2025, we are going to see the biggest devastating explosions. So the explosions, and I'll explain impulse attacks. They're worried about the blackouts. They're worried about coronal mass ejections, and the solar radiation is going to have class 3 radio problems. So transmissions with ISS, satellite transmission problems, and stuff like that. And leading up to 2025, it's a confirmation that it's going to be very bad. And we can't look back enough in history with the 11-year cycles of the sun to find out exactly what's going to happen. So why do you think they're studying supernovae?
Mm.
They're
Mm.
probably worried about the sun going to react.
Probably a good idea to invest in some EMP protection for your home, for your cell
Exactly.
phone,
Oh,
for
and
your
when I say
car
explode,
batteries.
that's what I meant, eh? Like explode. Yeah, I should have been more precise. When I say explode, it's going to react and be bad. But no, they don't say the sun is going to completely obliterate itself. And if it does, don't worry about it. We won't feel a thing.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
Nothing I can do about that one.
No.
Okay. Bruce, you brought up another video. Let me see if I can bring this up on your channel just a couple of days ago. And I was fascinated by some of these images. Let me bring this one here. I'll scroll back just a little bit at the beginning of this particular segment. What are we looking at here, Bruce?
This is both the same crater. On the left, it's Eratosthenes crater at the end of the Apennine Mountains, and the one on the right too. But on the right, it's the negative, my same negative as usual. On the left, it's regular, no filtering, just a close up. I'm looking at the objects going across Eratosthenes crater. If you even go now to look at a regular NASA image at the end of the Apennine Mountains, you will see that the size of a pea. But every object that I'm showing, think of it, JC, every object I just zoomed up on is there in any object on the moon of that crater. So I proved that I could show it really close. And what are we looking at? Well, we see smoke or clouds. I would say scary smoke because it seems to be going faster than clouds, JC. That smoke that we're looking at. It looks like it's
This here coming off the edge, you mean?
Yeah, it almost looks like the crater is outgassing also. It could be another theory. Maybe, they say methane, when rocks rot here on Earth, that it gets the methane, is in Earth's atmosphere. As a matter of fact, it keeps the oxygen low to the surface on our planet. So
Right.
Maybe the oxygen is low on the moon.
And do you find anything anomalous about these right angles up here also?
Yes, it's hard. You know how people say, Bruce, how come sometimes I look at your footage and the craters look like they're mountains, and sometimes it looks like they're holes, foreshortening, parallax, libration, where it looks like it's an outie or an innie. It's never the same, but they say it's because of parallax. But here, if I tell you in the center it's a square hole, you might see a hole. But if I tell you it's a square object standing up, it's hard. Your eye starts playing tricks on you. You go, well, I don't know anymore now. I don't. It's
Right.
like you could tell me it's lying down or standing up, but wouldn't be able to see the difference. But parallax stops that. If I tell you, JC, just over top, let's say it's a water slide park. People want to understand what I mean by that. Over top, the broken water slide goes to the area on the left where people are standing on the platform. Like whatever those are, we still can see them. They're all built and going over, or naturally formed, going over all the frigging craters to their centers there, like bridges and stuff. Yeah. And that's going to the Apennine Mountains. So what you're looking at is actually the Apennine Mountains that end right there at Eratosthenes crater. It's a crater that's on this side of the moon that everybody looks at. Everybody hears about Eratosthenes crater, and the atmosphere that we see moving around. I even have a video, dude, of the atmosphere going the other way, like sideways, like off, like there were different currents on the moon, like, over the mountains. We can see it sometimes, like a cloud or something going over. It's like, it's interesting.
Wow. Crazy. Let me scroll back on this video also. You had a couple of cool things to show you.
Yeah.
Let me go back to this one here. What are we looking at here?
See, like one of my favorite. Okay, what you're doing is you're looking at a gray surface. There's nothing to see, and then all of a sudden you see a light appear, and then it goes under the haze. But now you can scroll back a bit further though.
Scroll back further. Okay, hold on.
Yeah, a little bit, man.
Right.
Keep going.
Right here.
In reality, where you were. Okay, there. Pause it right there.
Okay.
Please, thanks, man. What you're looking at is that all the three screens are the same. I'm just different zooms, different close or not, top left not filtered. So basically, my telescope is pressed up stupidly on the surface with nothing there, nothing to be seen in the brightness. And I'm slowing down the footage, and I'm looking by descending the exposure underneath, and we are seeing objects appear and disappear. You'll see it over top too at the same time, and you'll see it underneath, and they descend underneath that footage. So here, yeah, not much of a footage, but it is much. It's like, look, boom. It even clarified hundreds of kilometers in front of it. You see, like when you see that light up, you see the surface of the moon light up at the same time. That is a goblin, because it's not a UFO. I was laughed at for calling those UFOs. It looks like a little ghost flying around. That's inside of Aristarchus crater. That's what I like, man. That's where I believe the cities are. The lights are inside of those hazes, and that haze, with the refracting light and the movement, nobody can see anything. But when you bring all the exposure down, you see that the lights aren't coming from the sun, dude, man. They're coming from the surface. There is a movement, like a highway. Like I could tell you there's vehicles or...
So if I were on the moon and I would point my scope at Toronto, this is what I'd see because of all of the smog over Toronto.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Right. Wow.
Exactly. But now you're pressed up on the surface, ridiculously close, but you're noticing explosions happening. So it's not hard. It doesn't take a genius to know that it's not anything. Yeah. And not just explosions, but you see the lights, and you see that some of them move from one light to another. Yeah. So if I compare what I showed, like I say, there's a war on the moon, possibly, or they're getting invaded, or they were invaded. What we just saw in the first video that wasn't mine, that you showed, and I just brought the exposure down, that those three objects going to the moon, that could be that they're firing at the bloody moon too, when you think of it. Yeah, like that could be a ship saying, okay, and let me tell you, just underneath is where I showed the base. They're shooting about like 1,000 miles behind Plato crater. About, you can see Plato crater there, that gray. Yep,
that's Plato crater here.
Yep, Sinus Iridum, Applebite just underneath. So we know where they are.
Yeah.
They are northwest of the moon there. So yeah, that they shot something down there, but it looks like a good descent. Looks like a descent where they're going down like that, and we didn't see the object flailing around. Don't forget what I showed you at one point crashing on the moon was something, but it was losing control.
Right.
It wasn't a controlled descent. It was like something going all crooked as it was going down.
Right. Wow. That's crazy, man.
It is.
I know we've talked about this quite a few times this year already, maybe last year also. You're starting to see more and more activity. You use the word explosion a lot. So
yeah,
suggesting that something's happening. Is your gut feeling, are we seeing mining explosions, or are we actually seeing battles? Because some of those explosions seem to be not on the ground surface. They seem to be also in and around the atmosphere.
On Earth, we have explosions seen in the sky. It could be lightning. It could be bomb, war, something we're not allowed to talk about. It could be like Ukraine or Russia, for example. Like let's say you're looking down from the moon and I zoom in so close to where there's a war, like really close. And then I exaggerate with my telescope. I descend all the lights down and I'm seeing little things like could be cities being bombed, like literally cities being, but the objects I'm seeing in the atmosphere could be reacting to the atmosphere, but it's not just could be. I see some reacting and I see some that are pitch black, JC, and like the one that you like there, it's pitch black. Then all of a sudden, boom, 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 lights all around it.
Right.
But that would have to be gigantic, explosive, atmospheric explosions in the air, not just electrical explosions. That's fire. I proved it. There's smoke. You see the smoke run off. I show an explosion, then everything goes dark, and then you see a big puff of smoke going away. They tell me there's no combustion on the moon. They tell me the fires don't explode on the moon the same way. They make pockets. Like, let's say if there's a building on the moon burning, it would make a bubble of white smoke, a pill form around in space. It wouldn't drift away because of combustion. We only have combustion process here on Earth. There's no combustion process in microgravity. But when I show the fires, I'm just saying it looks like there's combustion on the moon. When you look in the atmosphere of the moon, it looks like there's oxygen that we're seeing.
Wow. Fascinating. Somebody in the chat was asking, JC, what's that documentary you guys are watching? It's called For All. Wait, hold on. Let me bring up the poster again. Is it For All Humanity or For the Love of Humanity? Wait, hold on.
Oh, yeah.
We just started watching this the other day. The first 2 episodes, I was like, there was a lot of backstory with the characters. I'm like, fuck, I thought this was a movie about space exploration. So it takes
they're using real terms, of course. You say this is supposed to be your real mission.
Yeah, exactly. But eventually by the 3rd or 4th episode, they really get into it. And,
hey, wait, Tom Cruise is in space, isn't he?
Tom Cruise?
You know that? You do know that, right?
No.
Tom Cruise, they're going to send him to space for a couple of years just for his acting courses. To know how to act like an actor in space.
No. He's going to teach the Pleiadians how to run like he does on Mission Impossible.
He's tiny. He's the one that's going to bring the mail around and everything. He'll be like, bing, bing, running all over the ISS and send him out in a little bag. Like, so tiny.
Oh my God. Bruce. For All Mankind, guys, is the episode. Really cool. There's a part in there too. Where one of the no, I don't want to spoil it for you.
Say it.
I don't want to spoil it for you guys. It's pretty cool. At some point, there's an interaction. Of course, there's not supposed to be, but there's an interaction between the Russian base and the U.S. base on the moon, and it's not what you think. So it's kind of cool to think about. And there's a lot of great characters also that you've seen. What was that guy who was in Altered Carbon? Did you guys see that?
Didn't see it.
That series, I think it's Altered Carbon. This guy here, what's his name? Forget his name. In this particular series, Bruce, you might want to watch this too. They have clone bodies, and they have a little chip that they take out of the top of the skull where the atlas bone is, and you put in that chip into another clone, and you have all your past lives memories, and you just keep acting. And so this guy is like a military envoy.
You don't have one, JC? I thought you had one. I got one.
No, mine's not 128. It was a lot bigger than that, Bruce.
JC, goes to show how much I'm not too smart with 128 gigs. It's not going to be much projects done in there.
But yeah, that's the concept. Anyways, this was a cool series too. You guys can go and watch it.
Hey, last I saw was Spaceballs, man.
Spaceballs.
I'm really bad. I'm really bad with catching up on movies and stuff.
Yeah, we're gonna go to ludicrous speed.
Oh yeah, hypersonic speed.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Let me go back to your video on YouTube here. Was there anything else in this particular video clip we can show the audience? So that was, we just went through that. Let me see here. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Hold on. You can even back up just a little bit to the greeny section. There we go. Keep going. Yes.
Up a little bit more right here.
Yeah, a little bit more. Yeah. Okay. That, JC, is a light on the surface that is going to become bright like it just did. Watch it change directions. It's going to shoot something out of the end aligned. It just did. 3, 2, 1. Watch it appear at the other end. We'll see it here. Here you'll see it good. Okay. On the bottom right, he's going to get bright. And you're going to see the object at the end of where it's aligned. I'm showing the arrow.
Yeah.
It's hard to see, but you'll see it. Take the time. It's got bright. Watch what's going to change directions. Yeah. The whole surface lit up underneath that light.
Yeah.
And now watch. There it is on top. You see it?
Yeah.
I'm telling you,
crap.
Dude,
so it's like a projectile just went through.
Yes. And the first I mentioned that was in 2019. And when I mentioned that, I was dead and it was done. You know, no more sub. Hey, as I'm here with you right now, JC, my subs are rolling down to 0.4 on my channel. I've been there since February with you. I was at 0.3. It doesn't move.
Isn't that crazy? Hold on a second. Let me you need one of those platinum plaques here. Let's go to Brucey's all for a second. Bring the link down. You guys have to go subscribe here. What are we at? 98,500. Come on, we could do this today.
We're stuck at the 501, but now it's actually at 498. I think we went under.
Let me bring that link in the live chat, guys. Go click on that link and go check out Bruce and subscribe to his channel here. Let's mess with the algorithms. Let's get him over 100K there. Okay, let's go back to my video.
Thanks a lot, man.
No problem, man.
See you later. Oh,
yeah.
I'll stick around.
Hold on. Oh, we'll go back to this one here. It's just jammed for some reason. Come on. There you go. Okay. So the projectile. Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Where are we on this? Like, situate us on the moon here.
That is just at the bottom.
Keep going. I'll be right back.
Absolutely. This, my friends, we're just at the bottom of, that's right, Copernicus crater, where it's the biggest white crater on the bottom. I call it the pit of the fruit on the bottom of the moon, facing us all the time on the bottom, at the beginning and the end of the phase. And we see lights that are inside of the smokes. And when you slow it down, because people are not seeing it slowed down, people are not understanding what's going on. And when it's slowed down, like you're seeing right here, watch. It's hard to see, but watch. You're going to see a little movement frame by frame. The light will light up 1, 2, 3. It will turn upwards. Its nose. It's done. Well, there's a projectile. Now, for me to have shown that, I had to slow it down a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. Now watch this one. And you'll see when JC comes back. This is one of his favorites also. It's just an object that is hidden in the background, okay, in the dark, but I'm following it. Whoop, it lights up. There's something on the surface. Maybe it shot something and now something shot back at it. That's scary, guys. There's something falling to the surface, going to drop a BOMB. Watch. 3, 2, 1. You will see the red, just like in the war. Get ready. Whoop. There. You saw it. That's how subtle it is. It's hard to show these changes, and I'm showing them. See, there it is again. Here it is converted. It's an object out of control, like you know what they drop, like usual from helicopters. Bianchini crater. And he's back.
I'm back. Sorry about that. I had a delivery.
No problem.
Says, holy cow. Yeah, holy cow. What are all these structures? Are these like prisons for people? Like
it's incredible, like concentration camps. That's what they look like. You know, honestly, it's a scary thing. Yeah. So when I see that, even without being a genius or not, you can see the small objects that are all crumbled up. You see all those small, tiny objects over top of that arrow. It's all like smudges and stuff. There's your favorite one. Mm-hmm. UFO or anomaly on the surface with lights, or I call them projectiles, that are interacting, let's say, with that object. And you can see when I go ahead, it's like all hell breaks loose. It's just, you can't even explain it. You just see it and you understand. You're like, oh, something actually just hit that bloody object, you know, lights interacting around it. It looks like they're getting shot at. it really looks like something's shooting at them. But if we're seeing lights here on Earth, and the Pentagon says that they don't know what they are, it could be that those lights are actually invading the moon. That's scary as hell when you think of it, you know. See, now I'm showing that's the same footage you saw tantôt, JC, but there were other projectiles around it even there. So I had that footage 15 times showing all the projectiles being thrown out around that object, but it's hard to show and show and show. It's all real. See, there's that thing flying around with propulsion something at the back. But again, you see how this is with the it's a negative image. You can see inside of it there's an object going, and opposite the way they're going, you see that the plumes at the back, and the plume is friggin' big. It's a ginormous spot that you see going outwards, and these objects are both coming out of the atmosphere and going in. This one, you can tell it's over the moon, right? Like, you know, that's not the surface. When you see that go by, you can tell that it's very high up. Okay, JC, there it is, the one from the beginning. Light appears, smoke moves over, scare the hell out of you, and 3 stationary objects light up. So now if you pause it, what if that object that we saw lit up was a projectile being thrown to the moon, and we see 3 lights go boom on the surface? Seeing the round shapes would prove that there is microgravity down there, and we would see those circles.
Yeah.
You know,
wow.
Green craters doesn't mean it's vegetation, but notice that the green that's there, it's green patches. What is green and patchy? You know, why did the chicken cross the road? You know, I don't know. It could be forests or trees. I mean, I'll take the blame on that one, but all those objects that I can't distinguish or tell you what they are just quite simply there, and NASA is not talking about them. This is Bianchini Crater's Edge. But look at the plaquette on the right. It looks like somebody stuck some object there. That's crazy cutouts there on the right. That's the beginning of the 43-kilometer bridge, I call it. It's just like a platform that's covered with maybe snow. Man, if I tell you it's a dump of cars, who knows? I mean, it's just like a massive pile of objects. That's my favorite ones whizzing across the moon. That's Mare Fecunditatis, what we're looking at. And that's footage with the exposure taken down. That's why we see the lights where they're coming out from. And unless I would have brought the exposure down, you don't see them. All you see is spots appearing in the screen. And I slowed it down frame by frame, and you can see things happening, you know. All different events. And this one's not debris, man, because it's changing directions. It's literally inching its way like around like a little monster or something. And look, the lights there, it's interacting. That thing's look, the lights went out, and then it's going to come back. It's going to come back. It's not done. Watch, it's incredible. Oh, there, it's coming back. So it's like it's coming back up out of the smokes and hazes, and we're seeing it covered and not covered. So there's one spraying. That's Clavius Crater. The white, we're touching Clavius Crater. So sorry about the ending, man.
That's okay. Wow. Did you see maybe a couple of weeks ago, there was a clip making the rounds on Twitter about this plane going through the sky, and there was 3 objects kind of circling around it, which looked like little UFOs or smaller UFOs. Did you see that one?
It rings a bell. There was a couple that came out, I think, eh?
If I can find it, I'll bring it up on the screen for you.
Did you see the Chinese one warping?
No.
It's a plane. They're in the plane. They see a UFO arrive beside them, and the UFO warps like time, and then it takes off at 50,000 kilometers an hour, like boom, makes a U in the thing.
Oh, there was something just last night too, where a pilot recorded that a UFO came like 20 meters across their bow or something like that. That's interesting. And there's apparently I forget what frequency it is. If Cliff is still in the chat there too, people are reporting on this particular frequency where pilots talk about some of these sightings, and apparently the sightings are through the roof here in the last couple of months. Something that these guys haven't seen for years. So something is up for sure. Let's end on that. What's happening in your neck of the woods there, somewhere between Montreal and where are you at again? Salaberry Valley Field.
Yeah.
Are you still seeing a lot of UFO activity on the southern border where the U.S.
Well, this channel is going to get an insight on that, because my next video just happens to be another UFO video, but not 1,000 this time. JC, I documented over 1,650 UFOs in a week and a half, 300 a day rising up from one tree, not all over the sky, one tree. And they were rising straight up, going off sideways like that. I showed the Starlink tracker. I showed Flight Radar 24. Me, JC, real quickly, I live in an area. It's exactly Huntington. That's exactly dead town. Okay. And around that, I live in a triangle, and there are no planes there because I'm along the Canadian border. And on the other side is the St. Lawrence. And Toronto, Ottawa, the planes come in from the St. Lawrence and land exactly at the end of the St. Lawrence where Montreal airport's aligned. And for me, the ones leaving going over me, they don't go over me. They go off skirts of me, and they go to New York, they go to Florida, but they don't go over my house. So I see at night some helicopters and some small aircraft, but they're not on flight radar, and they're watching those lights, JC. They are definitely watching those lights lift up. I got flashes and everything. Yesterday, I saw one as big as, holy crap. It was ginormous. It was, it appeared out of nowhere, not from the ground, over the tree line. Again, in the distance, right? When I say over the tree line, doesn't mean it's sitting on a tree. It means that I'm seeing them 0.9 kilometers away because they're coming up in town, JC. They're coming up at the IGA where that biological lab is. That's exactly over top in the sky where they're coming up. And they're not coming up very high either, you know. But I went out yesterday. It's been 2 weeks, man. I haven't been able to go back out. So yesterday I went out for the first time. I saw 3 rise up immediately at 6 p.m. At 6, look, not 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night. And I saw a ginormous one at the same time as a helicopter appearing, and then clouds. So I'm going to have to go back out this weekend to see if they're going to be gone or if it's going to be something for good. And they're invisible to the naked eye, JC. Je les vois pas. Only with the invisible, only with the infrared camera, you know. And usually UFOs, I see them. All UFOs that I get with my infrared, 99% of them I see with the naked eye. They're smaller, but you could see it going by in the sky. But not those.
Huh. What do you make of it?
It was something being launched from here. And it's funny that I don't know if it has anything to do with it, but they actually launched before the cold weather arrived, which was 2 weeks ago.
Are they part of those weather grids drones or something like that? Could it be like, how big are they? When you look at, if you were to take a guess,
if I was to guess, I would say a very compact, smart car.
Okay, like a smart,
very compact, but nothing where you'd see 4 or 5 people in it.
Wow.
You know, but again, that's based on my judgment from the height. It's lower than the planes. Way lower than the small aircraft, you know. Big aircraft, 20 to 40,000 feet. Small aircraft, you have, 7,000, 8,000 feet, and the ones I'm seeing would be at 1,000 feet maximum. They're very low because they're lower than the tower, the 5G tower, and it's just appearing out of nowhere. I don't believe it's ball lightning. It's appearing near a hydro junction, though. It's appearing where there's a lot of power, man. There's a lot of energy there. High tension wires also, along the border.
Could it be what the Pentagon was reporting, like the Tic Tacs? Like, would it be about that same size?
Oh, definitely.
Or bigger or smaller?
Definitely. No, Tic Tac. They're not big, those Tic Tacs either. No. And yeah, it could absolutely be that. And I'm not hiding it. I've rarely seen them go in the sky. Let's be honest. I don't think more than 10 people have videos of that in the world. Everyone says, oh, Bruce, if they're not moving around in the sky, are there any UFOs of that? I've very rarely seen UFOs like that. That is something very deliberate, that if they're doing that, they want to be seen.
Right.
So you can say maybe it's humans but I'm telling you, man, I don't know if aliens and humans are more compatible. Like maybe those lunar people are born there. It's humans that are born, on the moon, and they're just like us, the same DNA, but they're on the moon with a different agenda, and they're looking back at us most definitely.
Well, you're going to get into the Elohim denial syndrome here.
Starting here about
those guys maybe are human-like, and apparently we have our DNA modified to resemble them.
Yeah, the guy from Venus. The guy from Venus, he's got beautiful long black hair. Long with curls. That's what they said. Again, whether it's a myth or not.
Oh, you're talking about Valiant Thor?
Valiant Thor, yeah, exactly. Is it true? Is it not? I'll tell you what, that story.
What was that thing they say? Women are from Venus, men are from Mars, therefore trannies are from Uranus.
Oh my God, that is a good one. I'm writing that down.
I just saw the meme the other day.
I gotta write that one down. That is
I was
that
trying to
is
say
crazy.
that with a straight face.
Well, that's why I told you. Somebody told me there's a lot of refraction around the craters. I said, you dumbass, those are rainbow flags. Didn't go too far.
We're gonna get in trouble, Bruce. Okay.
It's the best time to be Andrew Dice Clay, but no one's allowed anymore. No more Chris Rock, no more Andrew Dice Clay. You know, hey, just be honest. Yeah, you can't.
So
do
I
that.
had my thing of this chick's thing.
Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who the hell is the fairest one of them? You know. Remember how he used to talk with his cigarette? I was like, oh my
I
God.
know.
People love it.
He'd be so canceled today. Oh my God. If you think about that song, Baby It's Cold Outside being canceled, what about Andrew Dice Clay?
Hey, they took away my Uncle Ben's rice. They took Ben off my rice. I mean, that is crazy.
And then Jemima off my pancakes. Come on.
Exactly. Now Jemima gets no more credit. That's the way I look at it. You know, people look at it. Okay.
Continue. Remember Rodney Dangerfield too? I got no respect.
I remember Rodney Dangerfield. Oh, what do you think? He's the one that's not funny, but then everyone laughs at him. Man, I never understood Rodney Dangerfield. Everyone laughs at him, and there's nothing funny in what he was saying. He's going, I'm telling you, I came in there the other day and went, ho.
It was a different time, I think.
Yeah. I thought he was
the bar was a little bit lower, I think.
My friends say, why was he holding his neckline all the time? I said, he was high. He was high. Something was something up with. Dude,
check this out. So I don't know if these are 3 incidents. Oh, this one is 2000. It says 2013 in Spain. Purportedly here 2014.
I think you're right. Yes, that was the one.
And I'm not sure about this one here on that side. Can I zoom that in for you guys? Hold on. What does that do? Is that a third file? Okay, they're all in the same image here. Had you seen this one before?
I think so. I'm not sure yet. Yeah,
there's a file here where this plane disappears too.
They're gonna say they're fireflies. If I posted that, they're gonna say you got 3 bugs around your toy airplane. You know,
bugs are moving pretty fast if they're keeping up with that plane.
Yeah, but you know what? You know what's scary?
Yeah,
they're in contact with the inertia of that plane. In other words, it's going around that plane perfectly. So if that plane was to go left like that and to move around like that, those friggin' balls are still perfectly symmetrically around it. It's magnetism. They're aligning themselves with the it's like the centrifuge force of that airplane. They're gravitating around it. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. And it defies laws of physics. It has to be a quasi projection. They're projecting themselves into, the physical world. That is insane. Look how fast they're going, dude. Imagine you, me, and someone else in your community. We start buzzing around this plane. How the hell are we not running into each other? Exactly. We have to have one hell of a communication to do that. This is nuts.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. I don't think it's the clip here, but there's another clip where you see on radar, somebody put this on radar and an actual video camera feed where both on the radar and on the camera feed the plane disappears at the same time here. I don't have that particular clip, but really, really weird shit to say the least. Bruce, we're already at the hour mark, man. Holy crap, it goes fast. So this new video you're putting out, it's not this one here. When is that coming out? The one you just captured on Bruce Sees All?
It'll be out this evening. I'm starting the minute I get off with you. I'm jumping right into the video. I'm going to show that one bright ass UFO going by, and I filmed the moon yesterday. But like I said yesterday, I only got those 3-4 UFOs at 6:17 exactly, and then after that, I didn't get a chance to continue to see the sky because of the clouds. But JC, the activity that I saw. Just a little bit that I saw, I confirmed from last night that it seems that all the activity that I was getting has completely stopped except for those 3 that I saw. So I'm going to be able to keep you posted on that. Okay. I did not see any big swaths, no groups, no flashing or light. I saw one giant UFO, but again, JC, I saw 2 small ones nearby. I believe those lights are dropping off other lights. And I filmed lights separating themselves, and I've even filmed them joining up
Wow, that's gonna be cool. So check it out on Brucey's. Oh, hey, Bruce, before we go, shoot, I forgot about this too. Cliff had sent me this picture of the moon for you to comment on. This was taken. The date here is New York, March 4th, 1865. Let me zoom in so you guys can see the date there at the bottom. What struck you from this image here? And I think he was alluding to perhaps using this image and then going back to that same quadrant and verifying if there's real estate change from this particular image.
Well, he's smart. He's smart because if you look at it where, Mare Serenitatis, where you see Bessel line going through it, it's upside down as compared to what I showed.
Right.
But
okay, so here, Linné Creator would be here somewhere.
Exactly. Okay. And where he's showing it, you could actually see Linné appear white, that bulge there, just a bit to the left. Yeah, exactly.
This one here.
Yeah, exactly. And you could also see that, like me, this image is showing it where it's on the terminator line. The terminator line shows elevation. So this image would show the most elevation. So Linné and stuff. But you see, I tried to zoom in on it and stuff. And unfortunately, there's just nothing that you can really do with it. The image more to see it. You know, you can see some of the surface, but it gets pixelated. It's too bad. But I film that area so often, you know.
Well, if we go back just to the video you sent,
can you see the rectangle? Yeah, so I was gonna say, like right now, it's, exactly. Yeah, like you and I both know where it is.
Yeah,
but you know what?
You know what I don't see?
What
is the three bridges coming down?
Yeah, exactly. So the difference is the moon always looks the same over the years if everyone films it at that distance. My videos are already looking different because I've always only filmed close. So when I look back in 2019 and 2017, when I filmed on the moon, I'm noticing very subtle changes on the surface of the moon.
Yeah. Let me go back to see if I can find those three striations or what look like bridges or tunnels, whatever, going down on the original. Okay, so here.
Right.
Let's see. Let's see if we can show this to the audience members. Okay, so we're back here. What's this guy called again? Just to situate people.
SL, 16 kilometers in diameter.
Right. Our rectangle is here. So on the corner of that rectangle, if you move up, you would see these three
lines. And they're going to three light sources just to the left of the arrow.
One, two, and maybe this one is the third one here.
And something big in the center of the rectangle with two other light sources in the bottom of the rectangle.
Right. One and two. Yeah.
So Linné could be a light source too. When I say light source, is that you see this visible light.
So if we go back and invert this image here, this top corner should bring us to these three bridges here somewhere. And in this particular picture, we don't see it.
Yeah,
they would be here.
That's true. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, you are.
Yeah.
And you could see already that Mons Argaeus is the literal valley. It's to the left of the rectangle where you see like a line going into the ground there. Go upwards a little bit. Yeah, go towards the left. Yeah, keep going. Boom. Now you're touching Mons Argaeus in the literal valley where Apollo 17 declared having exactly set foot at the bottom, touching inside of the Mare. So that would be on top of where they landed.
Right here somewhere?
Yep, exactly. Yeah. It's exactly where they declare having landed. So they're not mentioning that bloody rectangle. And if you look, the rectangle is literally not more than 100 kilometers from them. It's really, 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 really close.
You wonder why they would have picked this target in the first place.
Right. Exactly. What I did notice in my rectangle, JC, you could even see the two light sources in the rectangle right there. One and two.
Bottom ones.
Yeah. Surprising. Yeah. Because
let's go back here. This is inverted. So these two.
Yeah.
These two
dots. That's inside. So that's two almost, over 100 and some years after, you can see that is there. So the changes that occur are smaller than those large objects. So you know what, JC? It's like saying I went to see Earth and Mount Everest hasn't changed. But if you go back to Earth and look at all the little houses around it, the roads change. And that's what people cannot perceive. That's glimpses of what I'm showing, and NASA was pissed off at that. That's why John Lear reached me at home to say, how are you clarifying the surface without showing pixelation?
He was interested in your work. Let me bring him up.
Yeah,
man, I wanted to have him on the show, and I was trying to reach out to him. I think it was through Kerry Cassidy at the time to see if I can get him on for an interview. But he recently passed away. There was some weird stuff happening in his life. Maybe 6 months before he passed away too. A lot of weird drama. I'm not sure if that was.
Yeah, and he had changed what he had said on the moon. At the end, John Lear said there was nothing on the moon.
Yeah,
that was on Kerry's interview and stuff. And he was uptight a bit. I thought he was uptight with her and stuff. I didn't like that.
Yeah,
but the guy did have dementia or something. Apparently, it must. I understand how that will destroy someone's world. But man, I tell you one thing, Mr. Lear. The first time I ever saw that black shirt video, black
this one
shirt.
here too. Yeah, that's how I remember him mostly.
Yeah, that's exactly when I really connected with him.
Yeah.
He's making a sign with his hand, and he's holding his heart in his hand, and that's also an MASON symbol. Black shirt.
I think he knew more than he let on. Do you wonder where all of his office files and the pictures and the stuff he was working on, where did it go?
I really do. One of his friends, his friends got pissed off when he put my work on his wall and started saying, Bruce is like Copernicus. And he really valorized me. I mean, I love him for it, what he did. Yeah. But boy, people really hated him. And his daughter was supposed to make a book after he passes away. Did you hear about this silly rumor of that she said, and I say rumor because I think it's actually true. She said that he was an angel after he died. So I said, well, why would she say that? I mean, I'm pretty sure that if people want John Lear's stories to be credible, I'm pretty sure she's not going to say that her dad was an angel. But anyways, I was just curious about it. We have good and bad angels around, eh?
Right. Well, no, I think they're all bad Elohim. If you go back further enough in history, you'll understand that you'll never use the word angelic again in a positive light. But that's another topic. I think Carrie was supposed to do something like there was a fundraiser at some point where they were trying to get money involved to get all of his documents and put that in some type of museum.
Oh, wow. I didn't know.
Did you hear about that? So I'm not sure.
I didn't know, but that'd be a good thing.
Well, I'll ask her the next time she's on. And she also asked me to send you an email to put you guys together so that you can go back on her show. When was the first time you were on with Carrie?
My friend, I could be wrong, a couple months, maybe even a year. It would be 2017 or 2018, I think, something like that.
Okay.
Many kilometers back. I mean, I had the small telescope, probably just not even had the big telescope yet.
Speaking of the telescope, what are you working on next? You're talking about infrared right now. Do you need other gear also to try to maybe up your game a little bit here, Bruce?
Yeah, there's a couple things. First of all, I was seeing those UFOs around here. There's some area over the forest that I wasn't able to reach and get to. I wanted to use an infrared drone, and I'm not talking about with an advanced pilot license. I didn't know it was that expensive. It's like some shit can get up there, but a drone that's good enough, which I'm gonna have to look into, that's good enough.
There's a Mavic that comes with an infrared. I think you're probably going to pay $3,000, $4,000 maybe.
Right. Okay. Like and it is infrared too. Yeah.
You can have the option. Yeah. There's a different dongle that goes on top. I know Jason before, my buddy, had an IR installed to his Mavic 3, and then he upgraded to another one that had it integrated as opposed to having this attachment. I think it was causing some software conflict at the time. So he went and bought the other one because he was hunting in the desert for gold. And the theory with the infrared also is it would pick up the temperature changes. So if there was cracks and openings of caves, the cold air from inside the cave would show up here. That
and refraction of light is something else. The way it refracts with the infrared, a lot of people say that's annoying. It is annoying because it picks up light so much, but you see stuff with the infrared, like I don't know, like on a day where there's no sun, you actually see the reflection and refraction in things without having the sun. I like the infrared that goes and gets light that you can't really see with your eye. See a lot of stuff out there with the infrared, the flashes and explosions. Jean-Claude, with those UFOs that I was seeing in the sky. Listen, man, they're appearing and disappearing. And they're popping, explosion lights, like exploding lights, like appearing and then disappearing. Me, it looked like they were coming into from a portal, literally like coming out of nowhere and just appearing there, and they'd become physical and then pop. You'd see them going, and then they'd rise into the physical world. It's weird, but that's literally what I was seeing. A lot of explosions around what I filmed in the past 2 weeks.
Wow. Fascinating times. Bruce, let me bring up a picture. This is the latest telescope you're using right now. What are you using?
Yeah.
What is this?
That's a CGXL 14-inch telescope with the HD option that's on it. At the back, I have a Nikon D850 that's directly at the back with the proper length and separation for it to be adjusted to be able to see. And I don't know if you notice, a lot of people thought it's not 2 inches the hole where that connection is. It's over almost 4 inches. It's ginormous, that connection. This telescope picks up a lot of light, and the light funnels inside to the telescope. It goes around 40, 50,000 times, then goes back out and projects an incredible view. Nikon D850 is something else. You really, you see something else on it. If I was to update it, and I will, at the back, different cameras. For example, I'll get a camera that shows Jupiter properly. Some people think, well, Bruce, if you have a Nikon D850 big ass camera, why can't you show Jupiter? Why are you showing it as a ball of light? That you need proper filters to be able to see the planets properly. Jupiter, it's not because somebody's zooming in close to be able to see the colors. They're using a $135 filter to be able to show Jupiter, So obviously when I show it with this one, I'll see damn close. I was able to do tests and, see Saturn and stuff. But man, with all the UFOs that I caught there, I was so preoccupied with the surface of the moon. And, I did stars back in the days. I started at 216, 217 nebulae. I filmed over 35 of them, Horseshoe nebulae, Orion constellation, and a whole bunch of different stars and nebulae. It was really fun.
You remember there was an interview with this guy, Norman Bergman? Bergen.
Rings a bell.
He wrote the book. Let me see if I can bring it up on Amazon. Ringmakers of Saturn. I was an older guy. He had worked for Northrop Grumman. He had worked for some of those earlier aviation companies, and apparently on some of these black projects. And he had basically been called in to decode some of the telemetry from some of those earlier probes that had been sent out. And so he talked about the rings around Saturn and how they were being made live, and they would see that they were growing and that something was ahead of it making the rings. And in that interview, this is like 10 years ago.
It maybe started
gone dark, or he's died also since, so I'm not sure. But he also said that rings were starting to creep up on Jupiter. So I'm curious.
Yeah, they are.
Get to Jupiter with your camera.
I studied that. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. There's a lots of flickering of light, explosions around. Like I got videos of Jupiter with explosion around it. And get this: biological creatures, then biological planets and stars and nebulae and ghosts, or like clouds, and then biological UFO parts. One of the UFO from the report, I get chills, said it was like a cat tongue. You would touch the surface of the UFO. This is creepy as hell, man. Touch the surface of the UFO, and when they touch the surface, like tongues would go react back to the touch, the sensation of the fingertips, hot to the touch. Like you could even feel a heartbeat in the UFO. Biological UFOs. Imagine they want to put computer parts on us that are alive organisms. Well, imagine putting freaking organism parts on things that are not alive. It's scary as hell. Just the thought of that, man.
It's pretty creepy.
Makes Frankenstein look like Romper Room.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
What was that thing? The island of Dr. Moreau, where they did all these experiments on putting humans with animals and
oh, that rings a bell. Make it like
yeah. Anyways, this is Norman Berggrum. Yes. If you type this in with Carrie Cassidy, you'll probably find older videos.
Yes,
probably on Odyssey, because I think her YouTube was yanked at the time too. Fascinating interview. So I'm curious, Bruce, next time we're up, maybe we could take a look at Saturn. We had a discussion with Cliff, the lunacy episode, where it appears that the moon is a repeater station for Saturn. So I'm curious about Saturn. So if you want to bring some imagery up the next time, we'll do a show on that and share that with the audience members. In the meantime, guys, please do go and support Bruce here. You can find him on Bruce Sees All here on YouTube. And if you want to support him a little bit more, also in terms of getting some more equipment here so that he can capture even more crazy cool stuff for you guys, you can support him on his Patreon at patreon.com/Bruce Sees All. And please, 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 before you go, go to his YouTube. Let me bring that link back down on the live chat here, and click that subscribe button so we can hit that 100K, and so that you,
or at least 0.5
blocks there.
At least 0.5. I mean, it's ridiculous how they're. Hey, my first video on Twitter yesterday, I got almost 40,000 views, dude, and I lost 30 subs on YouTube after having posted it. It's a little ridiculous.
I love your videos so much. Let me unsubscribe.
Yeah, I know, exactly. But they were playing with you too, right? At one point, like I looked at your detailed statistics. Me, when I see 100 subscribers, 23, 100 leave, 24, 100 come back, 25, 100 leave, 26. I don't get it.
Yeah.
To try to break up,
It's been
the numbers
for a while, but the worst part was last year. I had videos that had 40,000 views, and I go back the next day, there's 20,000 views. I'm like, well, how is that possible? I took a screenshot. I was happy with that video. I sent it to my friend. Look, we got 40,000 views that first night, and then I go back the next day. Hey, it says 20,000. How'd that happen?
So that's it. So you roll back
the views.
I call it Rick rolled.
Did you get into dude? You have to get into Twitter, okay? Since they Elon Musk took over. We've discovered that there was the sandboxing effect, the throttling back effect. There was the banned search effect. There was a bunch of categories that would put people in. I don't know which one I was in, but since he's back in, I went from 20,000 subs to almost 40,000 like that on Twitter.
Wow.
And big engagement on Twitter as well. So you need to be on Twitter. That's the next place there. And you can put your videos there too. You can simulcast on Twitter.
2 days, I'm up to about 600 subs now, followers.
Okay, let me bring that up for the audience too. Hold on.
Man, my name is Ufology Canada. I wanted to hide. Imagine me hiding my name instead of valorize my name. I'm just like Fart Man. I don't care. I don't want anybody to know me.
You're like YouTube. You're YouTube. Remember when they changed their name so that people wouldn't know it was them, and they created this other album? Okay.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I'm like a Batman. I'm like a Batman wannabe. Just. I live in a bad case. I have this big turning thing, but no freaking car on it. It's just I put my furniture and cat on it.
Bruce sees all, exposing the truth here on Ufology Canada.
Capital U, capital C, because Bruce sees all. You see.
Yeah, let me bring that into the link for you guys. So go sub to. Let me do that while I'm there too live. Follow. There you go. So there you go. I'll be able to retweet you when you put some stuff up.
Thanks, man. I will do the same. Did you retweet yet? I'm gonna go see.
All right. Thank you so much, Bruce. Thanks for being here. Thank you so much, everyone in the live chat. Please hit that like button and share with your friends. We'll be back shortly. Join us tonight for the Divine Feminine Oracle Show at 7 o'clock here on YouTube. And Thursday, we have a very special edition of the War Correspondent Show also. That's going to be at 4 p.m. Eastern. You guys don't want to miss that. And if you want to find more about the schedule here, just go to beyondmystic.net/schedule, and you'll see what we're all about here this weekend. I'm Jean-Claude BeyondMystic.
And subscribe. Subscribe to JC.
Thanks, Bruce. All right, guys. Have a great day, and we'll see you soon. Au revoir.